Mr. Guthrie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for testifying today. A lot of people don't realize, because it didn't get out in the public like I think it should have, before the government shut down on September the 30th, almost every Republican, I think all but one, voted to fund the government to fund the health care bill at the sequester level, and only asked to get rid of the individual mandate for a year, delay it for a year. Because as businesses and other people have been treated with waivers and special delays, we thought the hardworking taxpayers deserved, because we didn't think a product was going to be ready for them to purchase. And it turned out on October 1st it wasn't. So we wouldn't even have the government shut down if we'd have people agree to give hardworking taxpayers the same treatment they gave businesses, because the IRS wasn't ready to enforce that. Having said that, people say there are other alternatives, and so we have good people in the great Commonwealth of Kentucky working for Mr. Lau who will take paper applications. So there's argument, well, they can buy if they do paper applications. So how do you said you take the applications and enter the data? Where do you enter the data?
Into the portal.
The same portal that is having trouble being accessed online?
That's correct.
So even if people get frustrated, because I was watching my good friend here most of the morning try to get online. I think you've been kicked out 4 times since we've been sitting here as of today. You're going to take that information into the same data. So maybe you're making it easier. Do you have a special portal to get in, or do you have to deal with the same kind of problems that he's been dealing with?
The difference for us is that we don't have to establish an account. So our landing page on the portal is behind that.
But you have to have an account for the people that you're entering, right?
Well, in the initial days, you had to sign up. That's what we had been talking about before. Establish an account before you could do an application. So for us, we just bypass the account establishment and begin keying in the data for the application.
Okay, and that's what I want to get to. I'm glad you said that. And so when the President and Secretary Sebelius has advised Americans to submit paper applications, if they're having problems with the website, they still have to go to the same portal. Now, we've been talking about entrance into the portal, the front door. I think we've talked about it a few times. But also, Ms. Campbell, I know, to quote the Washington Post, quote, "About a month before the exchange opened, a testing group of insurers urged agency officials not to launch." So when you had, that's according to the Washington Post, unquote. So you had a test about a month before the exchange opened, because CGI provides that information. Were you involved with the testing with insurers? Or with CGI, not you particularly, was CGI involved with the testing with insurers?
So we do test with a set of insurers to make sure that obviously before we go live that our system is working appropriately.
Did they recommend that you weren't ready to go live?
They did not recommend that to CGI, to my knowledge. I mean, preface that. To my knowledge, the insurers did not recommend that directly to CGI.
Do you know if they recommended it to HHS?
I do not know.
You don't know if they did that or not?
I do not know.
Did HHS share that information with you that they weren't ready to go live?
Not that I'm aware of.
So you're not aware this test took place with insurers?
I'm sorry?
CGI is not aware that this test took place with insurers a month before?
I didn't say that. I said, to my knowledge, I'm not aware that the insurers provided feedback to CGI or to CMS or HHS on their...
Did y'all discover errors during that test with insurers? Problems with the system?
The purpose of test, by the nature of tests, is that it's there to
find the problems, and you're able to fix
issues that you have, so that you can have an opportunity to correct those issues.
Because there's still reports. It's in the weeks before the start. There's still reports in news that insurers are saying there's missing data, duplicate applications, enrollments, incorrect data and applications, and missing data that's still taking place, or at least it was reported last week in the news. Is that still taking place?
When we receive what we call they call it a trouble ticket or a defect ticket or an issue ticket, that then we are in the process of making corrections, and then when we do the next build, we make corrections to the system. So there could have been a point in time where there were duplicative insurance forms and things of that sort, or duplicate information, and we would have made corrections. Now, where we are in that process at the very moment, I don't have the answer.
I guess my point is, and we wouldn't have had the government shut down, believe it or not, and I know that didn't get out in the news, if we would have done the individual mandate delay. We didn't say get rid of the exchanges, get rid of what you were doing, not go live the next morning, just not mandate people buy a product they can't buy. And so my point that I'm trying to make here is that there's other issues. It's not just not being able to get onto the website. It's making the exchanges work. And it's hard to believe that if that report is true, HHS didn't tell you that they're having trouble or that they've been a delay. You know, it's concerning that those tests are taking place and it's been reported in the media, but it doesn't seem to get gotten to CGI from HHS. So my time's expired. I yield back.